Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this reading. This reading, I decided to go with a bit of a theme this reading. I wanted to talk about truths. So, as I'm shuffling, I'm going to ask my guides to please give me a reading about truths, uncovering some truths, confirming truths that you may already know, possibly even some suspicions, maybe to confirm some suspicions that you may have. Of course, please take whatever resonates with you and leave the rest with me. It may not be for you, it may be for somebody else. So let's see what comes up. So the first two cards that fell are the Eight of Wands with the Seven of Cups. Let's see what comes up. We have the Two of Cups. We have the Palace of Wands. We have the Emperor. We have the King of Cups. We have the Tree of Life. We have the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Cups, Sun, Palace of Cups, the Three of Wands, Ace of Cups, Space, Strength, the Eight of Coins, the Ten of Swords, these are just on the outside, Two of Coins, and the Page of Cups. So let's see what we get into, what truths we can uncover. So the first card that comes up, if I can actually get the card up, the first card that comes up is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands to me represents fast-paced momentum. It represents opportunities maybe that are or sort of objectives or opportunities that are moving quite quickly. Maybe it feels quite loose in that regard, that like there's that maybe things are moving around you too quickly and it's not really focused on one thing, or it's moving too quick for you, right? But things are moving. Maybe even things are just moving and it's momentum and you're just trying to keep up. But the thing is, with all this movement and this momentum, we have the Seven of Coins there as well. There's a lot of things moving forward. There's eight wands, right? Eight things, like all these different things moving, and it's leaving you a little bit unsure of things. Your emotions aren't quite there. I mean, there's 8 different momentums and 7 different emotions, right? So you don't know really which one to focus on. You don't know which objective to like focus all your efforts on or all your emotions on, because there's too many things happening at the same time. Even the way that I'm speaking now, it's constantly moving, and you don't really know. Nothing feels solid, right? Nothing feels concrete. It's just constant movement, and that can feel very loose. It can feel very stressful. It can feel quite anxious. I know when things are nothing feels stable, right? But we have the Tree of Life over here as well. The Tree of Life is universal. The Tree of Life holds everything. It holds all the world. If you into Norse mythology, it holds all the worlds, right? Yggdrasil. It holds all the worlds. It holds all the energy. It holds all the resources at disposal. The Tree of Life holds all the energies of the tarot cards in one place. It's the universal energy. So tapping into that, especially in moments like this, to take a pause, to take some time for yourself, find time for yourself when things are moving around you chaotically. Find that quiet place. Tap into that resource. Maybe you find some answers there. Maybe you can tap into the truth. Maybe you can tap into the knowing. Maybe you can tap into the Two of Cups, which represents that your internal soul, right? That internal relationship that you have with yourself, the relationship that you have with the universe, with your guides, with your higher self, with your God, whatever religion you're a part of. Tap into that, because that is what's going to make things feel a little bit worth it. You're going to find some sense there as well. Your emotions are scattered. Your external sources are scattered. So what we have to do is we have to turn internally. We have to turn to the heavens. We have to turn to something that is constantly stable, something that's constant, something that doesn't move in chaotic formations all the time. Right? Find that stability. We have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands represents, immediately after the Eight of Wands, it represents coming out of what feels like a war. It feels like you've been fighting. It feels like all these things are happening all at once, and you're taking a bloody beating for it. You're taking an emotional beating, a physical beating, and a mental beating, a spiritual beating that just feels like you've been dragged through the mud. And the Nine of Wands shows that you've been through hell, and you still don't really know how to feel, or you don't really know what to do after that. We are also met with the Palace of Wands. The thing is, after all that is said and done, after all this chaos that you've been through, the Palace One shows us door. The Palace of Wands, it's there is a reason why you've gone through it. Although it may not have made sense in the moment, the Palace of Wands shows you that that reward is at the end. It was all worth it in the end. You've gotten to the place. The objective has been gained, right? You've gained the reward. You've set this goal for yourself. You've went through hell to achieve it, but you have achieved it. This Palace of Wands shows you have achieved it. Nobody can tell you that you haven't, right? And that has also brought you to a place where you have the King of Cups. So you go from the Eight of Wands, scattered movement, it's chaotic, to the Nine of Wands, feeling battered and bruised. You have all your battle scars. You end up at the Palace of Wands. You end up at in the throne room, which surrounded by all your treasures. You have your certificate with your name on it. You have the reward. You have the proof that you've done all that you can to achieve this award, right? And you have then you start the Seven of Cups, where all your emotions are scattered along with all of this, but you've gained a relationship with yourself, with the people around you, with the heavens. You've gained a stronger relationship for it, and you end at the King of Cups, right? And the King of Cups is there, being the highest form of cups that you can get to in the tarot deck, and then you start all the way at the beginning again. But you've started from the bottom, and now you're here. Right? You've gotten to the place where you are at the top of your game, and it's a good place to be. And now moving forward, you're able to actually consciously have a little bit more control over the outcome of your emotions. You can move forward at a steady pace. It's not chaotic. It's more controlled. It's more with purpose. The Knight of Cups is it's very purpose driven. Think about the knights of medieval times. They don't just go and do whatever they please. They go because the king told them to go. Right? They have purpose. They have drive. They have a mission. So now moving forward, you have this a better control over your emotions going forward, right? Because of everything that's happened. And talk about the king giving orders, right? You have the emperor that leads up after that. The emperor is all about setting boundaries for yourself. It's setting boundaries for yourself, setting boundaries for people around you, just setting boundaries as a whole. It's learning how to say no. And not a lot of people, especially in this industry, know how to do that. It's having enough respect for yourself, enough self-love for yourself, enough is enough kind of energy for yourself, right? Where you don't want people, where you won't allow yourself to beat yourself up anymore. Why would you allow anybody else to beat you up either, right? You have to go through all of this chaos to get there. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any other way to get through this. But it's to a point where you don't allow yourself to be diminished anymore by other people, by yourself, or anything, or any shape or form, right? These chaotic environments where you lose a bit of your emotions, you're not really sure how to contest with this challenge that's in front of you right now. This energy of the emperor sets those boundaries where you control the emotions that affect you. You control the situations that affect you, right? You go through all of this chaos, you learn a bit more about yourself, you gain that strength, you gain that new relationship with yourself, and now you know how to say no. You put your hand up when something doesn't serve you anymore. There's the door. And you don't allow it in your space anymore. What you will allow more into your life is more of the sun. The sun, having the energy of the emperor, can seem very rude at times to certain people around you, especially to those of the people that you've given so much to, and without any questions. And now all of a sudden, no, thank you, don't do that anymore. People might change their attitude towards you by thinking that you've become a bit more rude. But at the end of the day, you're not there to serve them, you're there to serve yourself, right? And the way that you serve yourself is by getting rid of those people, getting rid of those energies, and bringing more of the sun energy into your life. The sun energy is more fun, more light, more vibrant, more childlike behavior, more things that serve you, things that make you feel good in your life, right? And the only way you're ever gonna figure out what that is by getting rid of the things that don't serve you anymore. It's easier to get rid of the things that don't serve you than to know what does serve you. That's at least what I've learned in my life. So once we once we realize, okay, that's diminishing my soul. Bye bye, right? And then all of a sudden, something new will fill that spot, and hopefully it's something sun related, right? And then you learn, okay, cool. Oh, I actually love to go play board games with my friends. A weird thing, right? Or I actually love reading books. I love learning about history. I love going to walks on the beach. I love listening to music. Those things fill your life, and whatever brings that joy and bright light into your life, that's what you're going to be filling with, and you're going to get rid of all these things that no longer serve you. Right? And that leads you to the Palace of Cups. So we get to the Palace of Wands with all these external challenges leads you to the Palace of Wands, and all of this internal challenges leads you to the Palace of Cups. So just like how the Palace of Wands is sort of like sitting in the throne room surrounded by all your riches, the Palace of Cups is having that waterfall in your heart. Right? It's 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 beautiful. It's serene. It's something that you cannot just look away from. It's your emotions are in check. Nothing's gonna ever bother you as much as it used to before. And anything that's met with a waterfall gets washed away like that. Think about it that way. Your emotions are going to be stronger than ever. We are then also met with the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands shows sort of an ending of a journey, right? You get to this point where you're basically watching all the ships come into shore. You're watching all these long voyage journeys, these cargo ships, these ancient pirate ships or whatever like that. As they're docking into the shore, it's always that sense of like, okay, we've made it home. We can spend a bit of time here. We can relax, have some fun before we head off on our next journey. That's what the Three of Wands represents. It's that exhale, right? It's that relief. You've gone through all of the hell. You've gone through all of the chaos and the challenges, and now you can finally rest for a while, enjoy in all of the Palace of Wands and the Palace of Cups and all of these palace cards that you've brought into your life. You can finally just appreciate that for a while before your next journey. And with that comes the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups is a whole brand new journey. It's funny, you end one journey, you start a new one, right? Ace of Cups is a whole new way of dealing with your emotions. It's a whole new mindset to your emotions, a whole new way of feeling, right? When you get to this place where you have the Palace of Cups, it changes everything about you, because now things that used to bother you no longer do. Now there's brand new things that come into your life, like the sun, for instance. Brand new things that come into your life that make you feel good again. And now you need to figure out where that sits in your life, how that affects you. All these brand new things are coming up, a whole new form of emotions that you need to learn. That's what the Eight of Cups comes in, right? But at the end of the day, it gives you so much strength. That is your final card for the day, is strength. Strength over emotions, strength over external sources, strength over your spirituality, and strength over your soul. It's just external, internal, mental, loving strength. Of course, we look at the last outline cards. We have the Two of Coins, which is all about balance, wealth, balance between your wealth. So balance between the light and the dark, balance between the Emperor and the Sun. We have the Page of Cups, which represents a little bit more of the Ace of Cups, the Page of Cups. It represents that new beginning, a sort of like unknowing of like how to deal with these new emotions. We have the Eight of Coins over here. Eight of Coins is all about working on your emotions, actually doing physical, mental, emotional, spiritual work. It's not just about like letting things happen whenever they happen, or letting bygones be bygones. It's actually putting in the work to actually find a better way, well, to deal with the Ten of Swords, right? The Ten of Swords, that anxiety, the stress, the things that burdens you. The Eight of Coins deals with that, works through those emotions, works through those challenges so that you can get to the other side and reach the palaces. So, of course, let's look at all of the major arcana, like I like to do at the end of all of my readings. So let's see what comes up. Matter of fact, I'm going to do something a little bit differently as well. So let's see what comes up. Okay, so we only actually have 4 major arcana, right? But I've kept the palace cards out as well because I feel like those are very important. Those felt like they were the main lesson here, right? So the Tree of Life represents all those, represents the external, the more spiritual, the more higher up resources and knowledge and connectivity that you have access to, especially when things get a bit more tough. Use that. Tap into your higher self, tap into your guides, tap into the angelic realm, or even your gods, whatever religion you're a part of. Use that energy to help you gain the Emperor's energy. The Emperor is all about setting boundaries for yourself, learning when to say no, getting rid of the things that no longer serve you so that you have more space for the sun, for the energy that does serve you, for the fun in your life, the light, the love, the joy. And that will all in turn give you all the strength you need, external, internal, emotional, spiritual strength. So we have the theme, the Palace of Swords, the Palace of Wands, apologies. Palace of Wands is those the external resources, right? The external abundance, the external rewards sitting in your throne room, surrounded by your gold. And you have the internal rewards. You have the Palace of Cups, the emotional rewards. You have that waterfall flowing rapidly through your heart. Nothing can penetrate, and anything that does just flows away. So, if you like that reading, please consider giving this reading. Please consider giving this video a like, subscribing for more videos to come, and I'll see you in the next video.